Hey everyone, as you might have noticed, there is actually no snow outside. This is because on New Year's Eve and the week before we had like really warm weather coming in, and the temperature was about plus 8 degrees here at Voss with just rain and even rain. So the snow in the lowland basically disappeared and left the ground really saturated with water. And so when it continued to rain afterwards, the water was just flowing on top of the soil and straight into the river. So we're going to see quite an angry river when we're both down to Bergen and back to Voss. Thank you so much for the super chat, Cirrus. And Patricia, yeah, you can ask me questions. Thank you so much for the super chat, Jeff. Patricia, in this train there's actually no food at all. We have some vending machines for coffee and that's about it, because this train is used as a local service train between Voss and Bergen. Thank you so much for the super chat, John. Wow. Steeljack, I already have a camera that can film in 360. You can find those 360 videos in my 360 playlist on YouTube channel. Thank you so much for the super chat, CJ. Naomi, yeah, that's my favorite too. Going over the mountain is just like totally epic. Ben, here on the west coast we have just two types of train, or rolling stock. It's the locomotive L18, which is a sister version of the Swiss RE460, and we have the train that I'm operating right now, which is also Swiss made, and it's the Stadler Flirt. It is designated class 75H here in Norway. Yeah, and it's basically what took over when the class 69 retired from this part of the country. Hey there, Cuddy from Cape Town. Okay, I actually have some days off still, so I will probably do another TSV video and probably also start a new game in Transport Fever. Hey there, Gurvinder. This trip is approximately 2.5 hours. We're going down to Bergen and then back to Voss again. And as a treat, in the end of this video, you will actually see the Beilhack coming into Voss from Scenic. So then you're going to see how the Snowblower looks like. I was actually considering doing a dual stream on Facebook and on YouTube at the same time, but YouTube doesn't, Facebook doesn't allow a very high bitrate or resolution, so I'm for now going to stick with YouTube. If you look to the right here, you can actually see how high the river is now, and the lake is just basically swallowing the fields and almost coming up to the road. Thank you so much for the super chat, Steve. You're welcome, Catherine. We have a very low point just on the entrance to this tunnel because of constriction of the river on the outlet, and in some cases the rails has actually been flooded, and the last time that happened was in 2015. Then the water just poured into this tunnel and really did extensive damage to the tracks on several places. Jellybean, if you look at the title of the video, you will actually see that this is the last day of 2019, so this was recorded on the morning on New Year's Eve. Rob Jackson, if the rails are flooded, we actually don't drive the trains, basically, because that would be very dangerous for anyone who would come in contact with the water if there was a train on the same section, because there's a slight chance you would get electrocuted. SpongeBob, there is a signal current going through the rails, and you also have fiber optic cables running along in the conduit you see to your right. Thank you so much for the super chat, Gurvinder. Wow! Jellybean, yeah, as I mentioned in the start of the video, there was a whole week with rain here at Voss just before New Year's, and the temperature was like +8 degrees Celsius, so we lost all the snow, and even the ski resorts had to close. If you look down the embankment here to the right, you can see they have placed a lot of new rocks, and the reason for this is that in 2015 the river actually dug out all the ballast under the tracks, and it was almost hanging in midair. So they had to rebuild the whole track, and then they put the boulders down there to stop the water from kind of digging out the ground underneath the tracks. What you are correct. The speed signs are triangles. Pointing up, that means increased line speed, and pointing down is a warning about reduced line speed. You're welcome, Alan. Ben, I have been working as a train driver for over 10 years, and every day at work is not the same as the day before. That could be different weather conditions, phenomenons, or anything that happens in traffic, like delays or like floodings and winter storms. I can imagine, Jellybean. We actually have the same thing here. We had a couple of days with below zero and some snow, and yesterday it actually started raining again. So today everything is just sloppy, wet, and to be quite honest, disgusting. Naomi, yeah, we actually have had situations like that where we have asked people to get off because they are basically a threat for the safety of the staff and other passengers. So there has been numerous occasions where we would have to call the police and have them remove the person as well. SpongeBob, I really feel ya. Is this something I really hate? It's working like really early. Everything before 7 is like pain, just pure pain. Hey there, Jennifer. I did that for approximately 2 years. Okay, if it was possible, I will actually send you some rain because seriously, we had enough. Human finisher? Yeah, I'm the only one who is driving on this train. We are just one engineer at work at a time. On each train, that is. Naomi, I don't think you need to worry about Finsa. It's quite snowy up there still. Yes, Gervinder, the temperatures has been above normal here in Norway since approximately 2012. On this type of train, and depending on the day or what time of the day it is, usually we're just two on the train. And with that I mean one driver and one conductor. And again, here you can see on the bank on the right that they have put in a lot of new stones to prevent the river from eroding the bed. During really bad weather and flooding, this would be the first place of the line that would actually get flooded, because this is the lowest point down to the river, and you can see that when we're passing along this section right here, that the distance down to the river right now is like very small. It's like almost nothing. Thank you so much for the super chat, Sakura. Naomi, it's pronounced Håreina. You're welcome, Frank. I'm so glad you actually like the videos. Helping Hardy, are you meaning you thinking about the green truck? not sure I understand what you're trying to ask for, Steve. It takes approximately 6.5 hours to go from Oslo to Bergen. The train is not empty at all, and acceleration on the flirt is really, it's impressive. It's really impressive. Pretty correct about that. As top speed in the Finse tunnel is 160 kilometers per hour, which equals 100 miles per hour. The real Dottie, the announcement system just announces the next station, so Luke, you are very correct that this does not feel like 160 kilometers per hour. That was 130 kilometers per hour, which is the maximum speed allowed between Myrdal and Bergen. Catherine, it's actually very seldom that animals goes into the tunnel. And the biggest thing we usually see in the tunnel is like small birds and the occasional fox. People actually wave to the train all the time, especially kids, and that's they usually sound the horn every time they actually ask for it. Total, we never drive for more than 5.5 hours maximum at a time before we have a break. Naomi, that actually works every time. Sweet G, yeah, there has been several occasions where I have been really close to hitting either persons, trespassers, or cars who has been stuck on level crossings. High tech? Well, yeah. I did that. I think it was in 2008 where I passed the whole platform with a whole train. On that bike, they have a routine where they inspect the line. I'm not sure when they do it, but we just know that they do it. I think it's a couple of times a week they actually inspect the line. And our job as drivers as well is that if we see anything abnormal, we have to report that to the traffic controller, who then again will call out the maintenance team to investigate. Hey there, Joe. Adam, this is the local service between Voss and Bergen. If you look closely to the left, you can see you have a flat area next to the track. That is actually where the track used to be. And the same in this tunnel, the track was going on the outside on the right, and you can see it crossing over to the left before going over to the right again past the brown house and in through that mold. Thank you so much for the super chat, Jay Johnson. If you look at the car passing me to the right there, I can tell you that he's speeding because the speed limit on both the rail and the road at that point is 70 kilometers per hour. Eric J. Flom is pronounced flom and all is pronounced all. Just like in that's all. Indeed, Rob Jackson, that was a naughty driver because 70 kilometers per hour, 70 kilometers per hour at that point of the road between Voss and Bergen. I mean, seriously, you wouldn't want to go beyond 70 kilometers. Thank you so much for the super chat, Frank. The horn signals with the bars, if the bar is horizontal, it means that you are approaching a level crossing and you need to sound the horn. And if it's vertical, that means you have to sound the horn due to a halt or a platform along the line if the train is supposed to stop on it. So if the train is not supposed to stop on it according to schedule, you don't need to sound the horn. And if you have both the horizontal and vertical bar on the same one, it means that you have a level crossing and a platform at the same place. Hauke, not all the places are like limited to 80 kilometers per hour. It depends on where we are. We have two general speed limits in Norway for cars, which is 50 in dense populated areas and 80, which is on country roads. Every other speed limit will be marked and signed, and at that point where that car just passed by, it is actually 70 kilometers per hour, not 80. Thank you so much for the super chat, Joe. Thank you so much for the super chat, Eric. Josek, the distance between the plow and the rail kind of depends on what kind of rolling stock you are running, but on this one the clearance is actually quite big. The plow on the flirt is not really like a plow, it's just there to push things aside. Naomi, Myrdal is pronounced Myrdal. Rob Jackson, we have here on the west side, on the road you just saw, the E16 between Oslo and Bergen. And most of that part of that road is limited to 80 kilometers per hour. But on the east side of the mountain where it's actually easier to build roads. The speed limits are 90 and sometimes 100 and 120. Steve, yeah, it was actually a couple of winters ago where a huge ice block I fell down on the rail and I hit it, and that actually damaged some things on the undercarriage, and I was actually stuck at Myrdal and needed help to get back to Voss. Naomi, are you referring to the 100,000 subscriber plaque? Actually, I cannot wait myself. It would be so epic. I mean, seriously, if someone told me like a year ago that we would be here at this level, I would just laugh in their face because I never imagined it becoming this big. Supplies and stuff like that is brought to Myrdal either by helicopter, and that is not us. We just transport everything by train, but the cabin owners around in the area, if they're doing improvements to the cabin or they need some concrete lifted, they actually use helicopter. But in my case, where I actually broke down at Myrdal, they sent an extra train up to Myrdal and it connected with me, and we just drove back to Voss and Bergen without any problem. Welcome, Frank. Julius, either you're really lagging or you are basically on another place in this video, but the next station is Trengereid. Thank you so much for the super chat, William. That's correct, Frank. We actually have option to go another route to Oslo, and that will be from Hønefoss to Oslo. You could either take the trip over Roa to Oslo, which would be a lot lower speed, but it's shorter. Or, as usual, we just go by Drammen.
Trengereid.
That's awesome, Naomi. I actually wish I could be in California right now because the weather outside is like, no. It's just no. Wow, thank you so much for the super chat, Rob. Okay, the sidetrack in the tunnel is for the track next to us. That is the old part of the track, which is going on the outside and back into the mountain. So the track we're actually leaving from now was added, I think it was in 1963 or something. Steve, you actually have to ask the producer of the train of why it actually sounds that horrible. But one thing I can say is that the frequency of the sound is carrying really far. So people who are in the near vicinity of the track, they can really hear the train because that sound, it carries a long way. Brown, me too. The headlights on the Flirt is completely awesome. Well, until you meet another Flirt with full headlights on, that is not so awesome. Beth, I actually ran into a small landslide in 2009. It was not in this part of the country. It had been raining like a lot. It was during fall, and a part of the road next to the train line actually slid down on the track. So when I hit it, it was like throwing rocks and everything in every direction. Yosik, no, we don't have seat belts on our driver's chair. Steve, yeah, actually, there was this once I hit a moose at 130 kilometers per hour at night. I can tell you, I actually, yeah, it jolted me quite a bit. Jeff, no we don't. Joe Brown? No. The horns here are covered under the roof, so they also have kind of a cup in front of it, so it doesn't get flooded. And for everyone wondering, the track that veered off to the right, that is actually the old line. It is now a heritage line, and they run steam trains on that all year round. Julius, the exit in Bergen will be on your left-hand side. Steve, actually no. As a driver, we don't have a lot to do with the passengers. We don't go out in back of the train unless the conductor asks for assistance. Greg Ryan, no, I have never run Steam Locals. You need your own, it's a own certificate for that, and I think you have to be a kind of an intern for approximately 2 years before you're allowed to drive that Steam train yourself. Assassin Street? What do you mean about favorable? Do you mean like it's in the right position? Yeah, that's the new tunnel being built to the left. This tunnel we're running in right now will be closed for upgrade when the new one opens, so it will still be a single track railway here for quite some time before they open both tunnels. Assassin Street, I can tell you that if the switch is in diverted position, that will give you a total different aspect in the signal. And if the switch is in neither diverted or straight track, the main signal cannot give you any clearance to pass through without switch being locked in a secure position, so it is safe. So I don't have to check switch point when I come in, but if I get a permission by the controller to pass a signal in red because they're not able to give me a train path, then we have some procedures about that. So then we have to make sure that we're able to stop in front of the switch point to check if this, the points on the switch is in the right position before we continue. Steve, on days with a lot of wind and snow, they do plow the tracks between each train. Fluke? Yeah, I do. In several videos, I have kind of had, what shall I say, brain fog. For example, if I have stopped at Wien or at Ygre, then the distance to the signal is of it's larger than it usually is, so there's sometimes I have been overspeeding because I totally forgot that, oh yeah, I stopped between a pre-signal or distance signal and the main signal. That means I will be monitored at 40 kilometers per hour. And if you do 49, then yeah, it will definitely try to slow you down. Steve, yeah, that would actually be quite cool. Just one thing, everything would be totally white. Thank you so much for the super chat, Fluke. Phil, I know that there has been several points where I haven't sounded the horn. That is basically due to the rule change that happened in June. We are not longer needed to sound the horn if you're not supposed to stop at those small stops up into the mountains. And there has also been other situations where I have actually edited out some parts of the audio due to conversations with the traffic controller. So yeah. Sakura? Yep, we are now arriving Bergen. Frank? Yeah, they are building a new maintenance building because of the length of the flirt. The old building was, it could just accommodate the class 70, sorry, the class 69, and that was just very short train. It was 75 meters long, and so they are now building a new one that can accommodate the flirt, which is approximately 110 meters long. Sergio, I actually encourage you to read the description of the video. Good evening, Klaus. Mr. Ox, you can actually find that here on my channel. I have several videos going from Oslo to Ål, and it continues from there on another video from Ål to Bergen. Naomi, it's about 20 minutes. Good evening, Joanne. See you later, Frank. Wojciech, yeah, we're actually going back to Voss now. I wanted to show you guys both the tour and the trip to Bergen and back because of the flooding, and that is just because of the different angles of the river. See you later, Sakura. See you later, Dr. Alex. Jay Johnson, yeah, this is from the same day. It's actually just 22 minutes between the arrival and the departure. Steve, being a driver in Norway gives you a good job security. The return trip is going back to Voss. Hey there, Papa Smurf. No, we have. It's really seldom that people ventures into the tunnel because they know how dangerous it is. But there has been some times where drunk people or people who are under the influence of narcotics has thought that being in a tunnel is a great idea to get cover from the rain. But yeah, it's not a good idea. Thankfully, it doesn't happen that often. Greg Ryan? No, I don't operate freight trains because they belong to another company. Railroad in Norway is pretty split up. They put out the whole freight part, to competition back in 2000, and now they're also splitting up every region in the country for franchises which companies can bid on. So right now there are 3 passenger companies running trains, and soon in June the 4th one will come, and yeah, I guess by the end of 24 there will be 5 companies running each part of the country. Hei, Fredrik. Sweet G, those small alcoves in the tunnel are tunnels that are actually going into the neighboring new tunnel. So they are actually exits. If you have to evacuate from one tunnel to the other, and then you go through those boreholes. Walper? No, not yet, but they are repainting the trains or putting on the new foil on the trains, yeah, when they have time and when they are in for longer service. On this day, I actually did 2 trips to Bergen. Greg Ryan, I will actually share that in a later video, but the color is green. Hey there, Manoj. I think that was more than 2 days ago. Hallo, Atle. Hvordan står det til med deg? Godt nyttår, forresten. Hey there, Blue Spites. You're welcome, Charlie. Everything good? No, the only green train that, which I actually named the Green Goblin, there's only been one here, which was visiting for the signing on the contract. See you later, Michael. Steve, I have never eaten surstrømning and I never will. Seriously, I will never eat that. See you later, SpongeBob. Have a nice one. Naomi, no, there's no TVs on a train. Papa Smurf, these trains actually have pressure equalization systems, so I don't notice that we're actually going in and out of tunnels. Jeff Road, the destination is Voss. Sweet dreams, Cuddy. Big Daddy, no, I don't speak Hindu. Jeffro, do you mean spell or pronounce? Because you just spelled it. So Geo, yeah, on the local service, and they are pretty straight on time. Okay, approximately 45 to 50 minutes. Steve, I have no clue, but I guess they are. Isal, you will find your answer under the About section. Nimoy, please read the description. Linda, I actually prefer driving during the winter. It's a lot more exciting drive train during the winter, and yeah, it's I think it's more beautiful out there as well. Naomi, I totally agree with you. Jerry, the flirt is 105.5 meters long. Patricia Ellis, we stopped because passengers wanted to get on and off, and as well that we were waiting for a train in the opposite direction. Julius, there is no station called Fossmarkli anymore. Tom, no, never seen bats in the tunnels. Eric. It depends on where on the line you are. The maximum speed on the Bergen line is 160 kilometers per hour or 100 miles per hour. Between Voss and Bergen, the highest speed will be 130 kilometers per hour due to the signaling system and train safety, as well as the curvature. We have AC on the engines. It would be totally inhumane not to have any AC on the trains in these modern times. Steve Chavoya, no, I have not been hitting Avalanche since I think it was 2009 or something. But that was just a small rock slide from the road next to us, and it was in a different part of the country as well. Airplane, yeah, the people who gets on the train, they buy a ticket, and if they want to get off at a stop that is on request, they just tell the conductor they want to get off at a certain stop, and the conductor will tell me where to stop. Thank you, Daniel. Rich, yeah. These trains' primary brakes are actually dynamic brakes. So it is just for the speeds below 10 kilometers per hour where it will apply pneumatic brakes or disc brakes or friction brakes if you want. Chat, no, the horn is not automated. Jeff, what stops are you referring to? Julius, Fossmarkli does not exist anymore. Mark, we use a system called ATC. Jeff, we actually sometimes stop on those stops as well. They mainly resides between Voss and Myrdal, and those are called request stops. So people who want to get off at one of those stops, they just notify the conductor. Rosa, these are normal gauge. It's 1435 millimeters. Patricia, bad weather is when you don't see anything. That is really bad weather. Julius, there are no trains stopping at Hellestad holdeplass anymore. And as Ingunn says, you have to get the updated list of stations. Julius, if you read in the right column at Wikipedia, you can actually see when the stations were closed. Steve, if there's a power outage, there's actually no power. We have battery for lighting in the train, but besides that, you're stuck. Josik, yeah, that is done by me seeing those people who wants to get on the train. As a driver, you're obligated to not pass the station, those small stations, ahead of time, and you also have to make sure that your speed is so low that you're actually able to stop at the station. Greg Ryan, I used to be qualified for a large part of the network, but now I just run on this part of the country because of the length of the line. But that said, the whole country is now split up into 3 parts, and within the next 4 years it will be 5 parts, and all drivers will be designated to those each parts, which will be run by whatever company. So by the end of 24, there will be 5 train companies in Norway running passenger traffic. Yeah, that's right, Red Wolf, that's me. No, we don't have problems with people venturing into the tunnels. As mentioned earlier, usually it's just drug addicts and heavily drunk people who think that tunnels are a very good place to hide from the rain. Papa Smurf, we have a pantograph that has the connection to the power line, and it has a certain pressure to make sure that it will always stay up, so there's actually no problem. I have been driving trains for over 10 years. Josek, the gradient signals are quite easy. When they are pointing up, that means that you're driving into an incline, and when they're pointing down, that actually means that you're going downhill. The number you see on it, like if you see 22, that is 22 per mil, so that means 2.2%. That indicates the incline or downhill. No, gas lover, I am actually not familiar with that line. This tunnel is actually Trollkona in Norwegian, and directly translated to English, it means the troll's wife. That's awesome, Naomi. I actually did a run here a couple days ago on the flood line in really bad blizzard, so I'm really looking forward to go through that video and make it available for you guys. Don Roberts, you still having problems hearing my voice? Just, no, I don't film any level crossings in Norway. It will basically be just time consuming because I have a work to do. Linda? Yeah, there's actually a lot of people who climbs these mountains. If you see the cliff straight ahead, that is actually a point where people has been base jumping from. Steve? Yeah, it's definitely fish in that river. They are actually fishing for salmon here. Yes, it actually depends on time of the year. During the winter, the shortest day or the shortest light we have during the day is 5.5 hours. But during the summer, we have, yeah, it basically never gets dark, like really dark. Naomi, that might happen. Hauke, I'm not sure what you mean about that. Though, if those are river names, those rivers aren't even remotely close. Leira is a river that runs out of Lillestrøm or into Lillestrøm. Yeah. Julius Jørnevik does not exist anymore. Johan, what do you mean about that? The distance between two trains, or you mean in each direction, or? know me, I prefer it when it's completely white outside. Yeah, told. Yeah, the water is quite dangerous if it comes up on the track or it starts to dig out the underbed under the track. But as long as the river is at the level it is right now, there's actually no problem at all. As I have to sound the horn every time I get close to a level crossing that people actually can't see the train from, or I can see the people standing there from. Alec, no, I'm not Indian. Shambles, with my allergies, no, I'm not especially fond of springtime because the beach, it's horrible. I mean, seriously horrible. Anton, I used a GoPro 8 for this recording. Guys, please read the description. JMB, that would mean that I would have to go through the whole audio track after the recording, right? Joe Brown, yeah, we have the new uniform right now, so everything is green. See you later, all. That's awesome, Naomi. That alarm you heard was actually the driver awareness system. So we have a pedal that we need to lift our foot from and press down again on different times. It's like 50 seconds, and if you don't do anything, it will sound an alarm. And if you still don't do anything after sounding the alarm, it will actually stop the train. Thank you so much for the super chat, Hauke. I have. I can't even fathom how many miles I've done as a driver. Johan, I'm not entirely sure what you mean. If you mean distance in time or if you mean distance in kilometers. You cannot have two trains running on the same block, so one train has to reach the next station before the other train can leave the previous station. Joanne, I'm not sure how I'm supposed to answer that because that totally depends. We don't run on kilometers because you have one station. Example, I cannot leave this station we're arriving now if there is a train on the line ahead of me. The train ahead of me would have to reach Voss before the signal here at this station can turn green so I can leave the station. So it depends on how many trains are that is on the line at every given time.
Avstigning venstre side.
Red Wolf? Yeah, it would actually be great if it was dual track all the way. At some point that will happen, but when? That's basically up to the politicians. But if you have 2 tracks, you can increase traffic and you can run more trains. And as well, if one train breaks down, it's easier to get past it. William? Yeah, this is December 21st. Yes, we have actually already passed a lot of level crossings with both barriers, lights, and sound. You're welcome, William. Didn't I say 31st? There are a lot of abandoned railroad lines in Norway. Okay, yeah, I might have done that, but I really meant 31st. Hello there, Simon. That is kind of different from day to day because we actually do it by the hour. So if you are running the local service, even though you are working the same amount of time, you actually run fewer kilometers compared if you do the long haul. Alright, girl, this trip was done on New Year's Eve, and it was the local service between Voss and Bergen and back to Voss again.
Neste stasjon Voss. Dette tog endestasjon. The next station is Voss. This is our final stop.
Bare hyggelig, Ingunn. Hey Simon, it is me who has to thank you for actually doing it. And thank you, that's so awesome.
Avstigning høyre side.
Wojciech, yeah, we needed to extend that part of the track so we could fit the whole train that is called 610 and 609, including having a flirt in front of it. You're welcome, Joanne. Yes, did you read the description? If you read the description, you will see that this recording was done on December 21st, and the time here in Norway right now is 11:27 p.m. and it's completely dark outside. Thank you, Linda, and I'm really sorry that Nightbot timed you out for 5 seconds. Hello, Shark Girl. Yes, that cable car takes you up to the top of the ski resort. And coming in the track here now is the Beilhack. That is actually the snowblower that is used on the mountain. So it's just returning from a mission on the mountain pass to clear the tracks. Okay, so this concludes today's streaming. I really thank you all for coming in today, and I'm looking forward to have a new stream probably already next week. So see you then. Bye.